Hi friends, it's me, Mrs. Michael. Welcome to our Paragon Mills first grade YouTube channel. Today we are going to be working on pages 4 and 5 from last week's packet. The first page is called Let's Camp, and the second page looks like this. We're going to be doing 3 things together today. First, we're going to read a story. Second, we're going to talk about our story and write about it. And third, we're going to do a fun phonics activity using the words from our packet on page 5. So before we get started, I want us to talk about what's going to happen in this story. This story is called Let's Camp. If you take a look, we see a picture of a mom, and it looks like she's in front of a car. She's holding something in her hand. What does that look like to you? I think it looks like a map. Have you ever seen a map before? It's something that helps you figure out where you're going if you're going on a trip. Let's look at her face. How is she looking to you? Does she look like she's happy? No, I don't think so. Does she look like she's upset? No, I don't think so either. It looks like maybe she's a little bit confused. That's how I look sometimes when I'm confused. They are going to go camping. It's called Let's Camp. So they're talking about the places they want to go and the things that they need to take with them. Have you ever been camping before? I have, but let me tell you a secret. I don't really like camping very much. But can you think of 3 things that you might want to take with you if you were going to go camping? I'll give you a second to think about that. If I was going to go camping, I think I would want to take a tent, a sleeping bag, and a flashlight. Let's write those down. Did you think of 3 things you wanted to take? Go ahead and write those 3 things down for me. You can pause right here and write those things down. I decided I wanted to take a tent, a sleeping bag, and a flashlight. All right, first let's write the word tent. Will you sound that out with me? Tent. Eh. What does that sound like to you? E. Tent. Good. Tent. The second thing I want to take with me is a sleeping bag. Let's sound out the word sleeping bag. Sleeping. I'm going to start with S. Oh, it sounds like an L to me. E. Ooh, and I remember that in the middle of a word, if it's going to make the long E sound, sometimes we need 2 E's. So S-L-E-E, sleep, that's a P. And then what are those 3 letters we squish together to make the ing sound? I-N-G. Sleeping bag. Ooh, that's a CVC word. Let's chop it out. Ready? Bag. B-A-G. Bag. B. G. Sleeping bag. The last thing I want to take with me is a flashlight. Let's sound out the words flashlight. Actually, that's 1 word. It sounds like 2, but that's just 1 word. Flashlight. Full. Oh, that's an L. It's an A. Flash. What are those 2 letters we squish together to make the sh sound? S-H, that's right. Let me fix those 2 letters. There we go, so you can see them a little bit better. Flashlight. Flashlight. I. What sound do you hear there? I. Flashlight. Flashlight. Now, that's not spelled exactly right, but I was just listening for the sounds I was hearing. I wasn't worried about spelling it correctly. So when you're doing this at home, you can do the same thing. Just listen for the sounds you hear and write those down. Don't worry about spelling them correctly. We're just learning. So if I was going to go camping, I would want to take a tent, a sleeping bag, and a flashlight. I hope you wrote down 3 things you want to take too. Let me go ahead and erase that so that we're not distracted while we're reading our story. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our story. You can open up to page 4 of your learning packet, And I like this story because it is right on our first grade level, and you can all follow along with this. Are you ready? Get out your magic pointing finger, and will you follow along with me? It says, "Let's camp. We can go in the van. We will have fun. Where do we want to go? Don't we have a map? Run to the van and get a map, Kim. This is a mess. Where is the map? Look, I found it. Now, where do we want to go? Let's go here. This camp has sand. Get in the van and let's go camp." Now, I want you to pause the video right here, and I want you to try reading that one all by yourself now that we've read it together. Now that we've read the story together and you've had a chance to read it on your own, I want us to think of a sentence we can write about our story. This story was about camping, and they wanted to go camping, but they didn't know where they wanted to go. So what did they look at? They looked at a map. Can you tap out the word map with me? Map. Map. Good job. So what sentence could we write to tell us about this story? Or what sentence could we write that would remind us of this story? How about we will go camp in our van? We will go camp in our van. That's the sentence I'm going to write. You can write with me, or you can choose your own sentence. It's your choice. We will go camp in our van. So, I'm going to put blanks for my words. If it's a little bit slanted, don't make fun of me, okay? We will go camp in our van. So that first word is we. That's a sight word. We have to always spell our sight words correctly. How do we spell we? W-E. At the beginning of our sentence, do we use uppercase W or lowercase w? We use uppercase W. So uppercase W-E. We will. There's another sight word. We have to make sure we spell it correctly. Will. W-I-L-L. This time we used a lowercase w because we can't let any more capital letters sneak into our sentence. We will go. How do we spell go? That's another sight word. G-O. We will go camp. Let's sound that word out. That's not a sight word. So we don't need to be worried about spelling it exactly right. We can just listen for the sounds that we hear. Camp. K, k. K. Ah, ah. I hear A. Cam. Hear M. Camp. P. I hear P. We will go camp. What was our next word? In. That's a sight word. How do we spell in? I-N. In our. Our is a sight word. What are those two letters we squish together to make the ow sound? O-U. Our. With an R. Our van. Ooh, that's not a sight word, but it's a CVC word. We can tap that word out. Ready? Van. V-A-N. Van. Can you spell that with me? V. I hear a V. V-A-A. I hear A. Van. N. I hear N. Now, good writers and good readers always go back and check their work. Are you ready to read with me? We will go camp in our van. Does that sound good to you? I feel like there's something missing. Do you see something missing from our sentence? We need something to go right here. What do we put at the end of our sentence to tell us to stop? A period. Period's just a little dot. It's not huge. Just a little dot that tells us we stop right here. Good job. I'm going to erase this now so that we can move on to the last part of our lesson today. Good job, friends. You're doing great. Now I want you to get out page 5 from your packet, and we're going to do this activity together. We are going to make some words using the end and the int sounds. Now, it's going to be a little bit hard for me to show you on my paper, so I'm going to put it up here on my, well, it's actually my freezer, but I'm pretending like it's my dry erase board today. I'm going to write these things up there so that you can see them a little bit better. So we have a little T chart. We have END. We have ENT. Then up here at the top, I'm going to put our beginning sounds. We have S, L, T, N, E, D, B, making sure we don't get those mixed up, and R. Now for this activity, you can use your paper, and you know what, if I was doing this at home on my paper, I think what I might do is cut out these squares and move them around to help me make the words. But you can do it however you like. You can use a pencil and paper, you can cut them out, you can use magnets. If I was at school and I had my magnets, that's what I would want to use. Or you can just do it on paper. Lots of different ways to do this activity. So let's start right here. We're going to take our beginning sounds and add them to the endings of these words. Let's start with S. S. End. S. End. Send. S. End. What about L? Ul. End. What word did I make? Ul. End. Lend. Ul. And lend. What about T? Let's see if that makes a word. T. End. Tend. That makes a word. Let's write that. T. And. Tend. Good job. Let's see if we add in and if it makes a word. N. End. N. End. Nend. Is that a word? That's not a word, so we're not going to use in for this one. What about if we add the E sound to the beginning of this? End. 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 That's silly. That's not a real word. What about D? End. Dend. No, that's not a word either. What about B? End. Bend. That's a word. End. Bend. And last one. End. Rend. That is a word. Not one we use very often, but it's still a word. End. Rend. Good job. Will you read these words that we made together? Ready? Send. Lend. Tend. Bend. Rend. Good job. Those are rhyming words. Let's move over here to the int side. Let's start with S. S. Ent. Sent. Is that a word? Yeah, like I sent you a letter. Sent. S. N. T. Sent. Good job. Let's add L and see what that makes. Ul. Ent. Lent. Is that a word? Yes, that is the season that we just got done with, that some of our friends, they celebrate Lent right before Easter. So Lent. Ul. N. T. Lent. Good job. Next one, T. T. Ent. Tent. Does that make a word? Yeah, tent. Like I could go camping in a tent. Like in our story. N. Tent. Good job. Next one, nint. N-ent. Nint. Is that a word? No, that's not. That's a nonsense word. We're not going to write that one. Let's come down here to E. Ent. Ent. What? That's not a word either. That's silly. We're not going to write that one. What about D? D-ent. Dent. Does that make a word? Dent. Like I had a car accident and I have a dent in my car. Dent. D-e-n-t. Dent. That didn't really happen. That was just a sentence. Dent. Bent. B-ent. Bent. Does that make a word? Yes. Bent. Let me scoot over here. B-e-n-t. Bent. Good. I need to make my T chart a little bit bigger. We're making so many words. And last one. Rent. R-ent. Rent. Does that make a word? Yes, write that one with me. R-e-n-t. Rent. Like I will rent a car, or I might rent an apartment. Let's read our words together on this side. Ready? Sent, lent, tent, dent, bent, rent. Good job writing those rhyming words. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my video today. You did a great job, and I hope you keep on reading and keep on practicing at home. See you next week.